All right. Good morning. I believe we are live. How you doing this morning, Carlos?
Good, good.
What's happening?
You know, same old, just plugging away,
That's
doing
good.
business.
2021 good to you so far?
So far, it's been good.
We're a
Been
month
really
into this
good.
baby, a month and a half into this baby now. We're actually coming up on Valentine's Day.
Man, don't remind me.
Well, that's why I said it, so I remind a bunch of us, right?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's right.
Wow. Well, good morning. And today is Follow-Up Friday, February 12th. And I've had a change in my employment situation, and have moved to start an office here in Kansas City with the home loan expert. And so I thought, because the last week or so I have been living what I normally do anyway, but kind of really living the transition, right? Trying to, trying to make sure that my pipeline doesn't go dry as I have the new ramp up period that I have to, encounter, right? So kind of like starting a new business, essentially, right? So what I thought we would talk a little bit about today, Carlos, is planning, the process of planning for success with lead generation. And for me, it's just about that system, right? That process and that system that I have in place, whether it's on paper or it's this, right? And it doesn't really change what company, where I'm at. I don't think it changes, right? I think it's the same principles, the same blocking and tackling, business to business, right?
Well, it's the same as, I mean, some people don't realize is that it's the same as starting a business again, too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's starting all over.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You got to you got to start all over. You got to let people know who you are and what you're doing. But you're in the same industry, so that's the plus. But
right.
Still, you gotta let people know what you're doing.
That's
where
right.
you're at, and
Well,
that's a chore.
yeah.
Chore.
Well, what did you get from me on Monday? What did you get from me on Monday?
Text.
Yep. I went through, and we talk about it all the time on this, the power of our cell phone and this database that we walk around with. And so on Monday, that's what I was doing on Monday. I was texting all my, realtor friends, and letting them know that, I had a new area that I was going to be working in as far as company wise is concerned, and sending them my website and things of that nature to make sure they knew, family members, friends. We talk about the fact that family and friends are also a great resource, for potential business. So they need to know, what I'm doing. And it was a great opportunity for me to catch up and let them know what I was doing, and that I was changing companies. So I think I went through and I text all the way back to Christmas texts, right? Because we do the holiday text on things of that nature as well.
Right.
Yep. I went all the way back to Christmas. So that texting campaign occurred from morning until night. I think you and I were texting sometime in the later afternoon too. And I kept going to probably about 8 o'clock, sending text messages, just saying, hey, I'm at a new spot, so on and so forth. Just wanted to make sure you knew what was going on with me. So very important to do that. And that was the first thing I did, is go through and use my phone to text everybody and let them know.
But it's a lot of work, isn't it? I mean, you gotta do that, and you gotta be consistent with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you said it. You said, well, you got a whole week worth of activity, Steve. So get to it.
Yeah. It's no joke. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. You switched the same industry, and just letting everybody know what you did and what you've done and where you're at, and make sure you get the phone numbers and all that stuff, the links, and ways to do the applications, everything that you need done. You got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
still going to continue on.
That's right.
You
Right.
know,
Absolutely.
I mean, just like me, I got in the real estate business. I still, I mean, I think about it every single day. I still got a ton of work to do to let people know that I'm doing real estate.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I sent the text messages. I've sent out some emails. My schedule. I pretty much tried to stick to my schedule. My schedule is, going through and doing some realtor follow-ups, particularly on Monday, hitting some of the leads that may have come in or referrals that came in over the weekend. Tuesday was giving some updates on the current files that I'm closing out, new ones potentially at pre-approvals. Social media Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I think you hit me on Wednesday and said, "Hey, you need to make sure your LinkedIn is updated." You need, right? And
Well,
so Wednesday became social media update day.
well, and the thing is like you're doing such an amazing job, a great job at social media now. I mean, unbelievable,
I appreciate that.
unbelievable job. And so now I'm seeing your stuff all the time on everything, not just Facebook, everything. I'm seeing you more, like the LinkedIn just popped up at me, and it's like, oh, I see it. And then I saw, the old company. So it's like, yeah, so I thought I'd just message you and say, hey, don't forget to update your LinkedIn. But I saw old videos, or I saw, you're doing such a great job at getting content out there all the time.
Well, I appreciate that.
So
Well, and I appreciate the help, right? Because remember, you know better than anybody. I was not a social media guy at all until I met
no,
you.
right, and you weren't at all. But that's what I'm saying is it's like you weren't at all, but you're doing a really good job at it right now, and you're getting it out there because I see it all the time, and I see different things and I try to keep up now, and I was paying attention now because of the new way you're going, with the
Right,
new company, the new
right.
links, the new information, the better information. And that's why I was looking at that and I'm like, oh, it still says under your title.
Got it.
So,
Got it. Yeah.
and it's just like, but it's a lot of work. I know that I just reminded you, but I knew it was like, I'm going to get to it,
Yeah.
because it's so much, just like
Yeah.
you got to, get the Google and, all the social media sites. It's just,
Yeah.
I knew you'd get to it. It's just a reminder that you want to do that.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did because that happened to fall. It was poetic timing on your part because it happened to fall on the same day that was the day I needed to really get on the social media. So it was actually the timing was perfect. And so I went through and made those updates. Went through and started putting some content out there again. Because Wednesday was my day, my concentrated day. And then there's days I still do stuff on social media, but that's the concentrated, the focus day, right? Wednesday is my focus day on my schedule. And then Thursday was, touching base with past clients, referrals, checking in, looking for some refi opportunities. And then Friday today is pre-approval day and, more touch base with realtor days. So it's like the system's in place and you're right, it's a lot of work, but now it's a matter of just continuing to follow the system because I know the system's going to yield me some results, right? And so it's just a matter of just blocking and tackling at this point.
It was so funny because, my wife, with all this political stuff going on, out there, she's been getting, it's just, when people see all that stuff, sometimes it's just negative, and she's been getting off Facebook, like she took the Facebook off of her phone. And she said to me last night, she's like, yeah, I don't even get on there anymore. I don't even see that stuff. I said, well, you can't just get rid of it because
Right.
we just got business. I don't know. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I'm like, we just got business a couple of weeks ago off of Facebook. We did. And the reason why I said we did is because they copied both of us, which doesn't usually happen, but they messaged both of us.
Uh-huh.
So, so right there showed her, that she gets messages and that was new business just off of social media.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you
Yeah.
can't get rid of it. You can't
Right.
let it go because we get businesses off it,
That's right. That's right. Yeah. No, you're
So,
absolutely right. That presence, my activity, my level of activity on Twitter, Twitter's always been the preferred platform. Remember when we met, and I didn't have any presence at all. Hey Vince, how you doing? Vince is out there. Morning, Vince. When I met, we didn't have any presence at all on anything other than Twitter. That's all I did. And so Twitter is a platform that I've always interacted on because I used to play fantasy football and I'd find good information out there. So Twitter was a great source of information. So I've always been pretty active on Twitter, and but I've been a little more active now lately because I've been doing some stuff with, just putting some stuff out there with financing, with crypto, the crypto market, and stuff like that. And I've certainly picked up a couple people who DM me in Twitter, about loans. Hey, do you do loans in California? Hey, do you do loans here?
wow, Twitter. See?
Yeah, yeah. And it wasn't off of posts about mortgages, right? It was just because of the activity, the consistent activity. And I got a couple DMs on people interested in rental properties, interested in purchasing on primary, just from the activity standpoint, And so it is important. And it took me years to learn that, and to have to interact with you and Bianca and Taffy and the Remax team and stuff like that to realize, man, and Tracy, and like I really need to have more of a presence. To Dr. Bryant, Tamika Bryant, she's been on me for 3 years about you need to get on Facebook, Steve, and so once I finally got on, I realized, man, I was missing out on a huge opportunity.
Right. And you start seeing those. That's my whole thing is like, you got to set those notifications on, because you could get instant messages. It might not be a phone call. It might not be an email, business, but you could get it on social media because it's quick and easy for people.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be prepared for that social media presence, and you got to be prepared. You got to set that stuff up. There's some people that don't have Messenger on their phone, and it's like, I get a lot of messages. I'm communicating right now with a client via Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on Messenger. And so, you have to be prepared. I mean, that's how we're communicating. We're not communicating by phone, by email. We're communicating by Facebook right now, and that's how we're doing business. I'm sending proofs through that, and it's just, you got to be prepared for all that social media.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And, just having a presence is one part of it. The engagement is another part of it. And then the most important is the follow up to it. That's the most important, listen, I send DMs or send messages to some people, some companies. I've sent some messages to some companies, and I still haven't gotten a response. And I'm going, wow, okay, how is that possible? How's that possible? You're a company. You have a public presence on a social media platform. How are you not responding at all to your messages? So whether it's a tag or it's a DM, whatever, it's amazing that some people don't respond and don't follow up.
Right. Yeah, and you have to. I mean, for your business, like we got a message. I just got a message just now for some business on social media. We got a message on our business page from a client in a different state. I don't even know. They're far away. I know that. And the reason why we got that is because a package got shipped to their house, and that person doesn't live there, and it came from our place. But how did she find us? She didn't call us. She didn't email us. She didn't send back the package. She Facebooked us.
Facebooked, yeah.
And so we have to respond. We don't know this person's phone number or nothing. We have to respond via Facebook.
Yeah.
Because that's how she reached out to us.
Yeah.
And I got all my pages, I got all our pages coming to an alert, we get, and everybody gets the message in my company. So there's got to be somebody that is going to respond to those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, and that's good service, and good follow-up leads to additional referrals and additional business. It's just the diligence, right? It's just the diligence. But I'm telling you, it is so important to not only have the presence, engage on those platforms, but then the follow-up is, I mean, nothing's really foolproof. But the one thing that is foolproof to continue to generate business is follow-up. That's foolproof. That is foolproof. That's 100%. If you follow up, you're going to get some business, and there's no question about that. We talk about the progression of the sale, but heck, at this point for me, it's about creating the first contact under a new company, right? But I have to still follow up. Some of that is going to be a matter of following up from people that were referrals that I haven't converted yet or haven't bought yet, right? So part of that is a matter of doing, and that's kind of what Fridays are all about for me on my schedule. It's like, let me go back and call some of those relative referrals or those pre-approvals and see where they're at. This is a tight, tough market right now in real estate, right? With low inventory and low rates, and so there's probably quite a few people who haven't bought yet. I need to reach out to them.
Yeah, and your rates might be different than where you're at before, and you got to reach out to these people and say, hey, this is where I'm at now.
Right.
This is what I got. And if you have a huge pipeline full of people, people that have inquired, they might inquire back to where you were at before.
Right.
You want to let the people know, hey, I'm here now, and I can do this rate, or I can do this, or I have this available. I have these programs available. You got to let people know, and it's a lot of work. And the follow-up is huge with those people. I mean, you got to let every single one of those people know.
Yeah, but we know that when that follow-up is done, it's going to have, a positive residual effect. I mean, just like sending out all those text messages on Monday. I mean, I got quite a few responses. I'm still getting some responses like, hey, I got your message. Congratulations, and glad to hear, you've landed in a different place and stuff like that, right? I'm still getting responses on those Monday texts. Because remember, I went back to December and sent, hey, I went all the way back to December. That was the last time I sent out a mass text messages like that, and I'm still getting responses.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So how are you doing with your marketing material?
Great. So part of what I have, you see a lot of the social media stuff getting updated. We've got a great marketing team that's kind of doing that stuff. Which is great because that support's there. And I think that's going to help. I mean, some of the stuff that's going to go out automated, like on emails and things of that nature, So, I mean, I think, marketing and me are one and the same. I think that's inherently my background is marketing. So I love that part. I think that's why you and I get along.
Yeah, and that's funny because I was like sitting here thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, that means new business cards. That means, new marketing material.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here thinking, because you go back to text messages and it's that thing again. So guess what's coming up? It's spring ball is coming up, baseball,
Yeah. Yeah.
And those calendars, those schedules. I mean, I say calendars. Those schedules, are big.
Yeah, they are big. Yeah.
For your favorite team or for the local teams, that's a big thing. And because I can tell you this much, we did some year-end calendars, and those things worked tremendously with your brand on it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And all these agents in here, I think every single one of these people that had the calendars got business off of it.
Well, you said it just sits around. It just sits around, and it's one of those things that's always there year round. It's a year-round marketing on the refrigerator or on the wall or something.
But they sent those things out, and not even within a month, everyone got business.
Wow. Yeah, I believe it. That's a great, anything you brand, like you said, anything you brand, your pictures and your photo booth. I mean, that stuff is great because it's going to keep coming back. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and so that's another thing that you got to think about too is getting that stuff out there. Um, maybe get the Royals or the Cardinals,
Yeah, yeah,
calendar schedules,
yeah. I know,
and
absolutely.
start sending those puppies out to
Yeah,
people, and I'm sure that's going to be, a lot of people don't realize is that every little bit counts. When you
yeah,
get one or two deals off Facebook, when you get one or two deals off Facebook and you get one or two deals off Twitter and you get one or two deals off of, some other social media, LinkedIn, any of those, YouTube, any of those social medias, you get one or two deals off each of those, and then you get one off of your, one or two off your promotional products, and one or two off of dropping off flyers door to door.
right.
One
Yeah.
or two, referrals from people, one or two text messages you get. People don't realize is that it all adds up.
It all adds up. You're right. You're absolutely right.
You
It
know,
does. Yeah, it adds up. Absolutely right. It's all part of that contact strategy, right? Multiple channels of driving it out, whether it's calendars or emails or text messages or calls or drop offs. I mean, you're right. It all adds up. It just starts. That's that residual flow that just starts flowing in, and you go, man, where did this come from?
right?
But you're right. You said it originally, and you're right. It has to be. It takes some work. It takes some work. It takes some time. And if we put in the work, put in the time, we're going to get those follow-ups. We're going to get those follow-ups, and those people are going to follow up with us, and then we got to be willing to follow up with them. And then that's going to convert to business for sure. It's going to convert to business. So, but yeah, I mean, I thought that was good to kind of chat through since I had an opportunity to live through the real life transition experience. I thought, hey, let's talk a little bit about that, because people are out there probably experiencing the same thing. There's some people maybe that are changing careers right now because of the pandemic and what it may have done to their industry. Some people decided to jump in entrepreneurship. Some people in entrepreneurship, need to boost their business a little bit. It's just a matter of activity, following up, reaching out to the people letting them know what you're doing, reaching out to past customers, past friends, past associates. All those business cards. All those business cards. That we all run into a lot of business cards and we've got them. All those are people to let them know what you're doing. So I'm still going through reaching out to those people, letting them know, hey, I'm in a new place, new company, and this just want to give you an update and see how things are going with you. All of that stuff counts. All of it counts with lead generation.
Yep, very much
Cool.
so.
Cool, man. Well, that's all I had, Carlos. Any other words of wisdom or advice you have this morning to help the viewers out there?
No, man, it's keep the hustle going. I did it this morning. It's like don't let the day run you. You run the day
Yeah.
and get out there and hustle. Get out there. I love my Fridays. Because people take it easy, and I don't get me wrong. You got time to. You got to have your downtime, but you got to also treat your Fridays and your weekends like it's Monday. And you got to keep plugging away. You got to keep following up. If you don't follow up, I loved it because this week I had to send a message to an agent that said, wasn't this a client that you were working with? And they said, yeah, I guess that's where it pays for you to follow up. And I said, not me. I don't have to follow up. I said, you got to follow up. Because they ended up buying they ended up getting a place from somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like you gotta keep following up. You gotta keep, no matter what, you gotta keep reaching out and saying hi. I talked to another agent today, and yesterday, day before yesterday, we had lunch, and I said, these people, you got to invite them to events, because he wants them as a client. But I said, you got to stay in front of them. You got to invite them to events. You got to invite them to, fun things. You got to, invite them to lunch, show them around the town. You got to get, because they're new into town too, and I'm like, we got to stay in front of them. You got to stay in front of these people, and you got to keep following up every day, all the time. At first it's going to become daily, It could be weekly, and then it could go monthly. But the thing is you got to stay in front of them until you build that relationship up, and you can't stop, and you can't feel like you can't be pushy about business, but you just got to stay in front of them and be helpful.
What do you
Build that
say, Carlos?
relationship.
What do you always say, Carlos? If they like you, trust you, believe in you, they're going to do business with you.
Yep. They like you, trust you, believe in you. They'll do business with you.
And that stuff is built over time, right? That's built over time.
It is.
Trust, and belief is built over time.
Right. You got to get them to like you. In that same agent, we went and met a client together, and it was so amazing and I love hearing it. And she said, her and her husband said, actually it was her husband that said it, but he says, I got to tell you guys, I'm impressed with your guys' presentation, and I'm impressed with you guys, because you guys made an impact on us, and we really truly would love to work with you, and we did. We got a contract from them, but we didn't do anything special, but just learn about them. Mm-hmm. We didn't do anything special, but made sure we followed up with them. I followed up with them over the weekend. Mm-hmm. I had my daughter's dance competition that was going on, and I still followed up with them. I answered their phone calls. It came in while I was at an event. I had to step out of the event, but luckily she wasn't going at the time, but I answered their calls. I returned their calls. I followed up with them over the weekend. I met with them over the weekend. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things that you just got to stay in front of the people, and then it turns into a good relationship, Yeah. But the follow up is huge.
Yeah. And Vince out there says, be useful, be useful to others, right? That's always about, that's the key, right? If we're helpful, useful, checking in, saying hi. We started off this when the pandemic kicked in with just a matter of just checking on people, right? Being useful just to check on them. So I love what Vince says in terms of being useful.
Be useful. That's right. And, that's the biggest part is that you have to learn that, that you got to help out, the pandemic was a big thing, when it first came out, you have to check in on people, make sure everybody's doing okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to get shocked and saying, somebody got really sick, they passed away, and you didn't even know anything about it, and you got to be there for the family. It's just, you want to stay on top of people. You want to know what's going on, I have a new client that I've been working for the last couple of weeks, and it's been a project of developing that relationship, and she texted me and said, one morning and says, I appreciate you reaching out and helping us as much as you have, and she said, you didn't need to do that, but yet you did it. And so and that was at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, what it's like to get a text message at 8 o'clock in the morning, saying, thank you for everything you've done. It's great. It's a great feeling. So it's good that you build up that trust. They might not buy from, and they weren't when they came in initially, they were talking 3 years, of doing business. It's going to be 3 years out, but there's the type of person that wants to research, so, so I've been reaching out, I've been staying in front of them, and, and now they're thinking about selling before that 3 years.
Yeah. Well, we've had a guy, I told you about a gentleman down in Texas, who I got him because I followed up when the other loan officer didn't follow up and arranged to get when the other person didn't do that. And you know what? That guy still hasn't bought yet because the house that they have is better than the one they see. And, they've had their house, they've kept it in good shape, and they look at other houses and they go, I don't think so. So him and his wife haven't bought yet, but they're going to buy eventually because they're going to buy for their daughter. One of the calls I made on Tuesday was to him to just check in and see how he was doing. And he said, man, we thought you forgot about us. It's been a couple months since we heard from you, but we're still interested. And I said, well, I'm glad to hear that. They're like, well, this is impressive that, you remembered and you followed up with us. And why did I follow up with them? Because they're a past client, past referral, and I wanted to let them know I was making a move, but I was really just calling to say hi. And
Right.
uh, and you know what? And their daughter is going to buy a house at some point in time. Their son's going to buy a house, and you know what? I'm going to stay in front of them. I'm going to keep following up with them. And they were shocked. They were shocked. They thought I forgot about them. I was like, I mean, it's been a couple months, since Christmas, right? I mean, really, it's been since Christmas, since I sent the Christmas message out. But they were one of the folks I hit on Monday, and then they called me back on Tuesday. So follow up, stay in front, be useful. I love it again that you talk about the like, trust, and believe. They'll do business with you. But listen, folks, follow up closes the door. There's so many people who leave it open. They start a relationship, they start to make that first contact, and they never ever make another contact. And Carlos, it is so funny because you and I have been in a number of situations where that has occurred. That has occurred. Realtors have started a relationship, gotten a person approved, only for them to end up with you.
They didn't even follow up. I love it. I'll never forget it. It's like, these people called, and these people are calling me off of Google. By the way, I got another Google call. I got two. I got two this month that they walked in here into my location off of Google. So Google works. It might not feel like you're doing anything on Google, but that Google page, it works because people are Googling and calling, and two people walked in this last couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But, I got calls off of Google, and I got a call off of Google, and they reached out and they said, we've been working with this agent and we haven't heard from them. We got pre-approved. We tried calling them. They're not answering. Nowhere to be found, and so it's just one of those things. It's you just got to stay in front of them. Yeah. We're working a deal right now. We're coming close to closing it, but you know how long I've been working with this client?
How long?
1 year.
Wow.
It's been 1 year.
Wow.
That I have been every month or two, it's just staying in front of this person. Mm-hmm. And we're just now coming. It's been a little over a year, like a year and a month or a year and 2 months, I think it's been. And we're just now coming close to closing a deal with them. And, but you got to just stay in front of them, and they might not buy today. They might not buy tomorrow.
Right.
But they'll buy eventually.
Or they'll refer you to someone who they know who's looking for the services that you may offer. Right? There's so much value in that, and that's where we talk about this on our compendium document here, where it says, "Hey, listen, 43%, 43% give up after the first attempt, 68% after the second attempt, 80% give up after the third attempt. But once you get past that 4, 5, 6, 7, you're the mind share. You are mind share, meaning we own their mind in terms of the service and the product that we need. We're the one they're going to think of instinctively because we have followed up and made contact 7 times. We own it. So even if they don't buy, even if they don't need the service, when they're talking to someone at work or they're talking to someone at the Thanksgiving or the birthday party, and they say, I want to buy a house, you need to call Carlos. Because Carlos I need to print something. You need to call Carlos. Who did I call when we needed the signs for the yards? I didn't even know whether you did it or not. I just I knew what you did. So I sent them to you. Right.
Yep.
So,
and that's what you got to do. You got to stay in front of the people, and you got to stay in front of you got to stay in front of new clients and past clients. And, you got to keep, staying in front of them, become friends, build that relationship up.
Absolutely. Cool. All right, my man. Well, Carlos, where can we find you? Where can the people find you? Google me, Carlos Ceballos Hustle. You can Google me. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm on TikTok now. I'm trying to get on there.
trying to not so much having the fun that everybody is having, but I hear it's a good time and people view it and see it, and so I'm on TikTok, I'm on all Pinterest, I'm on everything. So it's you can find me anywhere. How
Cool.
about
And
you,
then,
Steven?
well, this the same thing with me. You can Google me. I will soon have a Google business page, but you still can Google me. You can find me at For a Home Loan, forahome.loan. You can find me, of course, on all the platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. I'll be back on Instagram soon. Instagram, for some reason, shut me down, but I'll be back on there soon. And then I'm on Telegram as well now, and Reddit. Telegram and Reddit. You can
Good.
find me on Telegram and Reddit, and those are some newer platforms that I'm starting to try to get a little more engaged on. Telegram has obviously grown in popularity, and then Reddit has demonstrated its power with Dogecoin and AMC and all those they've wielded their power. So Reddit is certainly a platform that if you're not familiar with, you probably should get a Reddit account. If nothing else, there's some good information, good news out there, but it's definitely a place to get a presence.
And the thing is that if you're looking, I mean, you can have all sorts. Facebook is, older people, as the young ones say, the older people, but yet Reddit is for the youngers. So if you want to hit both aspects of the business of your area, then you got to get that account on Reddit so you can get those people, because
That's right.
there's
Absolutely.
different people on Reddit than there is on Facebook.
That's
you
right.
know, and you got to hit all that aspect if you're looking to hit, that, and you got to be on it. So that's why you got to stay in front. You got to stay on top of it, and you're doing an amazing job.
Well, I appreciate you guys getting me on the track. Like I said, you, Dr. Bryant, you guys really are like, look, you got to get out there and just get out there. And then, like I said, it's been easier because I'm seeing you demonstrate it, right? I've seen how you've been a presence and consistently put content out there and engage and utilize the tool. So that makes it easy when you have someone that you can work with that does it, that really just demonstrates it. And so I can just follow you, right? Follow Dr. Bryant, follow the people that are doing it. Right?
And it's a lot, and it's a lot of work, and you don't get the results instantly. It feels like you're not doing anything, but you got to just keep plugging away, keep that hustle going on that social media.
That's right. Absolutely. Cool. All right, man. We'll get to the Friday. I got some following up to do. I'm excited to start a brand new opportunity and venture. It's 2021, so I'm going to continue to push forward with making and achieving my goals through dominant follow-up strategies.
Awesome.
All right, my man. Have a good weekend, Carlos.
We'll see you.
All right. Bye-bye.